institutions having to be roped into this. And so the AG is proposing an exemption clause just so that we make it very clear that the AS Commission, the SHRAJ, all the other bodies, will continue to do their work as mandated by their various enactments. And so those are the ones who consider after we reclined, that's after lunch. And so we are confident that we have interpretation to look at. We should clearly be thinking of the definitions that align with the object and the content of the bill. So without much ado, this is a continuation. We suspended yesterday and we're continuing today. We don't need an opening prayer. And so, yes, it's a suspension. When we are closing, today is Friday, we will do a very beautiful prayer for the closing. So, without much ado, may we go straight to clause 17. And clause 17 has to do with regulations. So,
you had a point about this one.
Okay, so let me start with the vice chair on this.
Chairman, preliminary comment on 17.
Okay, so
Yes, was finding out whether the clerk invited, because most of the regulations are going to be handled by the gender ministry, the health ministry, and also the minister. When we get to the interpretation side, it's the Minister for Culture. I don't know if they were invited to participate in this session. I think they are going to be very important or play instrumental roles in the regulations. For example, the minister may, that's the Minister for Culture in the interpretation section under 18, may in consultation with the ministers responsible for gender, children and social protection and health, by legislative instrument, make regulations to undertake the following. I was thinking their presence or their reps should have been here to at least understand what has gone on in the main legislation, so that when the regulations are being drafted, their inputs will be well taken. But that notwithstanding, we can make progress. Thank you.
yeah, so I actually spoke with the Minister for Culture and Religious Affairs on this. I think the reason we had some Queen Mothers and then not necessarily from the ministry directly, I think he was holding a meeting at the time with the chiefs and Queen Mothers, and they indicated that they will participate in this. That notwithstanding, we will bounce this on them. Gender and health. So they are very important ministries as far as this bill is concerned. And so, but they have made inputs anyway. Prior to this meeting, both the gender, children and social protection ministry, and then the health bit. So we can take your suggestion on board, and we'll push this to them once we're done with the final draft. Yeah, Vice Chair.
Yeah. Hello. Yes, Chairman. Thank you very much. Clause 17. In recent times, I think there has been an inclination towards putting timelines when it comes to regulations. I remember the recent laws that we passed, we have been sticking to within 1 year, the regulations must be passed. So I believe that if we are able to insert some timeline, maybe within 1 year, I believe it will be on track. And I'm also suggesting that once we do that, then we might also, instead of the use of the may, the minister may, then we may have to put shall there, and then it can be passed within 1 year upon passage of the law. That's my suggestion, Chairman.
Thank you very much. I think that we've had debates on this, and each time we talk about this, the Honorable Chairman's name will always come. Since 2017, I think all the laws we passed, about 27 of them, we had insisted that we put timelines. There was a time Patrick and I we were at a subsidiary legislation committee, and there was a time we could count more than 50% of laws, or more than 60% of laws we passed that did not have allies. And so at the point, the current majority leader who chaired the committee was tempted to write to the various institutions to ask them to come through with the various legislative instruments. It's important to note and to emphasize the importance of an ally. More often than not, when sponsors come and get their bill passed, they forget about the ally. I mean, you need an ally to operationalize your law. And so the bill is just a skeletal document. It's just 4 or 5 pager bill. Indeed, the regulation should come with about a whole booklet, because that's what tells you what to do. And so any sponsor who really wants to work with this bill or act when passed must be ready with even the preliminary legislative instrument to. So that was the reason we set the 12 months period. But again, when they don't come within 12 months, what are the sanctions? Nobody holds them responsible and accountable to that.
Bring them to assurance.
And so
To an assurance.
the recent laws we passed, there was a debate on the floor whether we should. You raised that, yes. So there was one we put the 12 months after coming into force of the law. Another one we virtually did not put it because there was an argument that nobody enforces that after all. But I still think that we should.
We should put it.
We should put it there. The reason
Respectfully, we should put in that provision. And also as a committee, most of us also serve on the subsidiary legislation committee. We should make a very strong case during the debate and put the ministers or those responsible for the regulation.
the sponsors.
Yes. That if they refuse to do that, we'll summon them before this committee or any parliamentary committee, because the regulations gives effect to the
act.
And most of our donors, especially with the financial bills that we considered previously, before they could disburse loans to government, even under MPP and when NDC came into power, you recall we had to do a lot of debt policy operation regulations before they released the last tranche of the IMF facility. It's very critical that some of us look at this, because most of the ministers, like you said, they will go to bed having passed the law. But when they are caught up in a tight corner,
that's why they run. Yeah, they come rushing on subsidiary legislation.
Let's do our work. Chairman.
Okay, so I think that let's insist and let's argue forcefully on the floor of Parliament that we insist that 12 months after coming into force of any act, should the sponsoring institution, organization, or persons must come through with a legislative instrument to operationalize the law. So may I urge members of this committee, I know members of Human Rights Committee are here. We have very good friends who joined us. And so we should argue this very forcefully on the floor of Parliament, that we insist that a 12 months period, and we may now have to take away the may and put a shall there, so that we can go enforcing. Yeah, if you say may, it's as good as not putting it there.
Honorable Chair,
Yes.
Let me crave your indulgence here, and sorry, apologies for coming in later. But in principle, I'm agreeable to the proposal being made, except that we may have to look at the time frame that we're given. I will have wished that maybe
6 months.
no,
You should bring it to
this
6
is-
months.
Maybe
No, I think it should be standard.
like 18 months.
No, we've already legislated 12 months.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's on. So we should just continue with the. There are many bills we legislated 12 months.
Because most of it, they complain of financial constraints here and there. I've been on the subsidiary for some time. And they use the finance as an excuse for not coming quickly with their regulation.
No, if we make it mandatory, they will go and look for the finance.
Chairman, thank you very much. And a good morning to you. I want to thank the leadership, the joint leadership, and the committee and all CSOs for the very productive deliberations yesterday and how it has taken off very creditably today. On the clause under review, I agree that indeed it must be shall, not may, and I also agree that there should be a sunset clause within 1 year. This, we all agree, is a bill which has received more public interest than any other bill I'm aware of in the last 10 years. There's a bill that has become a topical campaign promise. In fact, from Osajefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, our first president, till now, this is the only bill that we have had presidential candidates expressly and specifically making campaign promises tied to the passage, the assenting, and implementation of SAPE. And therefore, it is not a bill that must be treated without a sunset clause, and which sunset clause should be deferred to a period later than 1 year. So it is an expectation that with a close collaboration between the sponsors and the relevant ministries, the minister responsible in this contest will have, as a matter of urgency, must take steps as soon as it is assented to by the president. Now that the speaker has given us indication that in about 3 weeks when we reopen, is going to be passed with alacrity and with the diligence and magnanimity of our chairman, Honorable Mahama, we will be able to see this pass before the end of May. And then once the president assents to this
Certificate of urgency.
before the end of June, even within this year, so within 1 year, we should
On that note, Honorable Gakwe, you have
that
the
will
floor.
clot the bill with the necessary implementation strategies to be able to
Rev, thank you so
be able to
much.
see it running,
Honorable
so that
Gakwe.
we clamp down on these absurdities.
Thank you so much. Honorable Gakwe.
Yeah, good Chair. Good morning, and then thank you for leadership for continual leadership you are providing for us to stay affair of this bill. Chairman, my concern is despite you are putting 12 men on the bill, my question is if it is sponsored by, it's a government sponsored bill, that agency in terms of using the 12 men will apply. What about members, private members bill? Where people are they going to use their private money to actually finance private members bill in terms of regulation?
Once
Especially this one is private members bill.
Once it becomes an act, I mean, it's no longer a private members act.
And the property of the state.
It becomes an act of parliament. So the state will take control of that. So the ministries who have mentioned here, very big ministries with muscle. I mean, health, gender. They are state actors, they're all interested parties. Ace Commission is there, they have plenty money. The last time we approved a huge budget for them. So,
Chair, the Ace Commission, they are not being resourced. I'm a member of the Ace Commission, but they are not being resourced.
Very well.
Under the
We will discuss that one later.
Himself will support.
Shraj is here. I mean, legal aid is here. It's commissioned here. I mean, all the interested parties and bodies are here. So, I mean, once it becomes an act, it is an act of parliament, and it doesn't matter.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
Leadership will have to
Mr.
wait
Chairman,
till-
but we've leadership here have all spoken. Mr. Chairman, I have to be given more opportunity to speak than anybody else.
Are you sure?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, so the point has to be made that the province of parliament is to make laws. As to whether the ministers or the ministries would enforce them goes beyond our mandate. So the standard that we have adopted as Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee is that regulations, every regulation that has to come under an act, pursuant to an act, must be done within 1 year. So 12 months should be standard.
Yeah.
As to whether it will be followed or not should be the province of another entity. Private citizens can take it up to ensure that some of these things are done.
Yep.
But Mr. Chairman, the minister here, the minister, and the interpretation says the minister, in this case, is the minister responsible for culture. May we look at this again? Shouldn't it be the Attorney General? Shouldn't it be that? Because this is essentially an issue of crime. At the core of it is about regulating behavior to avoid the commission of an offense. So much as we are talking about family values and all of that, but it's also, a criminal enterprise that we are trying to proscribe. And I think that the Attorney General should be the lead person to deal with this matter.
No, but
I think that is a proposal that I want to put across. Mr. Chairman.
I disagree.
Because I'm not too sure this is just about our customs and traditions
of the
and all
bill
of that.
is human sexual rights and family values. Whatever that comes afterwards is as a result of the human sexual rights and family values. And so that's the trust of it. The AG's work will come through when you look at the nitty-gritties of it. So I still think the Ministry of Culture, it's well placed to oversee this. Honorable Chair for... may I indulge the Tony first?
You're welcome. We know you are here. Chairman, let's look at the 17. I think that this bill would require the input of many more other ministries other than those mentioned under clause 17. And for that reason, we may have to do an insertion, delete and before health, and make an insertion to say and other relevant ministries. Because if you think of it critically, it would require the input of defense, interior, the AG, etc., local government, chieftaincy. Thank you.
Yes, I think it's fine. It's a good call. Zena, should we restrict it, or we can say, because they are consulting with others to make the LI?
So I respectfully advise that we have in consultation with relevant.
Okay. Yeah, without necessarily mentioning them.
Yes.
I should think so.
Yes.
So just a minute. So we don't mention any ministry. We just say in consultation with the relevant agencies.
Yes.
No, some ministers.
They will go to her.
Some chairman,
Where will they go to?
I mean, I wasn't mentioned. It's not my responsibility.
minister, chairman.
There must be
Honorable
a
Chair.
lead ministry
Yeah.
or agency.
So in this case, the Minister for Culture is the lead minister.
Yeah.
He will consult.
He will consult with.
agencies.
He will consult with relevant ministries.
Health, gender.
No, so we are saying that there's no point in mentioning health, gender. Once the lead ministry is there, that's culture.
No, some will have to be mentioned. Some will have to be mentioned.
Especially those
Yeah.
who mentioned in the act.
Yes.
They have to be mentioned.
Okay, so after mentioning health,
Gender.
gender, then we add another.
Right. So, Honorable Chair, that
Let's conclude on that one.
yes. So,
I didn't come across the legislation when we are imposing the duty of regulations, we say relevant agencies. We usually will state
Which other ministry is mentioned here? Let's finish with this one.
Chairman, as far as human rights are concerned, it cuts across all ministries. So I will propose that once we mention health, gender, children, and social protection, then we add other relevant ministries.
The problem is that we don't want to deviate from our drafting. Yeah, we will have to be mindful of that. But you see, when you say in consultation, I mean, by all means, before you finish with your ally, whether these institutions are mentioned or not, you would have consulted the relevant institutions to come out with the ally. And so putting a tall list of institutions here will just not make any. So let's leave that consultation open. But we can mention the two institutions who have been specifically mentioned in this bill. And then the consultation, we can leave that discretion to the chieftaincy ministry to do the consultation.
all right, Honorable Chair, I have
The same on the same.
an amendment on this same clause, and my amendment takes into consideration the concerns from Honorable Deputy Rankin and Honorable
Tony.
Tony. In combining these thoughts, my rendition will be the minister, and in this case, the lead ministry being the Attorney General,
No,
shall, in consultation
No.
with ministers responsible for.
No.
Just hear my amendment out, please, because this amendment, whether it's upheld here or not, I'll still propose it on the floor anyway. So please hear me out. The minister,
Prime Minister.
the minister, in this case, the lead minister, in my view, the minister that has the gravitas to be able to more comprehensively and competently draft legislation, regulations that can support the effective implementation of the intendment of this bill is the Office of the Attorney General. Yes, it is of cultural in nature, but we must also not forget that from the memorandum accompanying this bill, we are drawing it from the anachronistic nature of Act 29, which is in the bosom of the Attorney General, the Criminal and Other Offences Act. We thought that just the natural canon knowledge is not sufficient. We are seeking to expand that, but the larger objective is cultural in nature, and it is for this principle that, if you recall, when the President Mahama had calls to engage Catholic Bishop Conference and a wider section of faith-based organizations, he even promised that he is considering a government-sponsored bill to be sponsored by the Office of the Attorney General, because this is where it well lies in their bosom. Because the Ministry of Culture, Creative Arts, though it is marriage is cultural in nature, but its legal enforcement and regulations around it. If you are considering a ministry that will have the technical capacity to be able to draft proper regulations, the lead ministry must be the Attorney General, and then you consult the Minister for Gender, Minister for Culture, Minister for Health. These are the three critical, in my view, ministries
Very well.
that the Office of the
Very
Attorney
well.
General.
So,
and for which that is my proposal.
No, that's
So
fine.
my rendition is the minister shall, in consultation with ministers responsible for culture, gender, and health by legislative instrument within 1 year of coming to force of this act, make regulations to so and so. Then in the interpretation, we amend the definition of minister to be the Minister for Justice and Attorney General. Thank you.
Well, so two responses to your request. The first is that there is no bill, no ally that comes through, that Parliament is seized with, that has not passed through the AG. So that is a given. It doesn't matter whether the title is children, it is this. Otherwise, we could have just said the Children's Act, which is basically enforceable things under the AG, should have gone through the AG. Yes. So please, no, please. Let's be very clear. The fact that AG does a drafting and then the rest of that does not mean this bill should go under their care. They are by law supposed to, these bills and allies are all supposed to pass through the AG before they come to Parliament. So even if they are drafted from a different department, they will still pass through the AGs. There is no bill or ally that Parliament is seized with that has not passed through the AG before getting into Parliament. So with that one, I think that we should still leave this human sexual rights, family values, purely under the care of the Ministry of, the legalities and stuff notwithstanding. I think we should still leave it under that ministry.
Chair, I want also to add to your point is in the initiation of this bill and all that, the drafting, AG department is already involved in doing the drafting. And my next question is, yes, they are already part of the drafting of the bills that comes to Parliament. So they are already involved. Second, there is no department or ministries that human rights issues are not of concern. It cut across every institution in Ghana. So when it comes to issues of human rights, every ministry, every institution is involved. But it's only you want a ministry that will lead this process. And then I think it's appropriate to stay there.
I recognize Chairman for Human Rights. Now that you have mentioned human rights, Honorable Ntim, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Chair. My apologies for my absence yesterday. Fordjour stepped in well yesterday.
Who told you he stepped in well?
I monitored proceedings, and I've also Honorable Frank Garcia Dubequin, the Member of Parliament for Suhum, aka Fordjour. Chair, thank you so much. I think. I think our proposal had been for 17 with the relevant ministries, but I think that has been settled. But then I'm also happy that yesterday we were able to take the public health concerns from civil society and all the other partners that we've been working with as a Human Rights Committee, and we are happy that this committee is ready to listen to the concerns of well-meaning Ghanaians as well. So that's what I just wanted to bring up. Thank you.
On that note, we can move on to, if there's no any other correction, 17. We can do 18 now, interpretation. Issues of definition. Yes, ally, depending on wherever you're coming from, whichever school you attended. Bisexual, child, creative art industry, family values. Gay, gender, human sexual rights. Intersex, lesbian, LGBTQAP+. marriage, minister, non-binary, pansexual activity, queer, relevant authority, sex, sexual activity, transgender, transsexual, class. Any issues, please?
There was one petition that
You have the floor.
Has the Marriages Act been amended?
Sorry.
Has any aspect of the Marriages Act been amended?
Dr. Foley, you Marriages Act.
Yes, none. Yes, no aspect has been amended.
Marriages Act, no amendments.
I'm 127.
You people are happy with the
Amended
act.
by necessary implication in some.
Sana, are you happy with?
Itself.
It was revised.
It was revised, yes.
2010, but after that, there has been no amendment.
But 2010 is not that.
That's the Council for Law Review.
Review Commission. That is
VCRAC crabs.
We revised it.
What's the nature of the revision?
It's just to align from ordinance to act. Okay. That's the realignment to reflect.
But even that work was not conclusive, isn't it?
VCRC.
VCRC.
It was fast. That's why we have those green with it was an
That one too, there is a problem. Some people believe that VCRAC crab amended a lot of laws. So much. He amended a lot of laws.
That's a different matter. That's a different matter. Yes, Dr. Foley.
Thank you, Chair.
Are you going to talk on VCRC?
No. Good.
Yes. Okay.
We just wanted to take you back to 17 again. We're proposing that for 17B, we propose a new IV which will take care of. So the rendition for 17B would rather be III, which is assistance for intersex persons. Then III, the effective and efficient implementation of this act, and IV, public health and safety considerations. That would help deal with all these public health concerns and issues.
What you mean we should enact a whole LI on public health and safety concerns?
No. So, no. So,
no, that's what it means.
Providing for.
Yes.
That means that you have to put it in the airline.
Yes. So once you are providing for effective and efficient implementation, this is omnibus.
Yes.
So that will cover any other thing you think of.
Including public health.
Everything. Yes. That's right. Here we are specific because these two, we want that out. We want a document on victims of sexual activities. Then it's sitting down. This is a manual. This is a document. That is clear for everybody. Then we want a document for assistance for intersex persons. This is a special group that we have discussed in here. So we are specific on these two because we want those documents out. Any other can be provided for under III.
In addition to that,
including the consent that you have raised.
Mr. Chairman, in addition to what you're saying, by the canons of interpretation, the rule on mosquito sources, the effective and efficient implementation of this act means that what has been provided for prior and any other related matter can be captured.
That's right.
What we have not even thought about and contemplated can be captured under it.
It's omnibus enough.
And I think that this is more than enough to take care of it.
So, Chairman, you are covered. Chairman, you are covered.
And Chair, to even further assure my good chairman is my boss on the Human Rights Committee, and all our stakeholders. In fact, they'll be heavily involved in the LI because there'll be a lot of these concerns, and the concerns particularly on reporting, as was treated under Clause 17 and was split into 17 and 18, where extrajudicial treatment was even separated. We'll give details to how reference even should be made to the Evidence Act and how public health concerns should be dealt with, how protection of agencies, as Chairman in his opening remarks, Ghana AIDS Commission and the legal aid and all SHRAJ and all those will make very comprehensive guidelines. And I think that for the LI to be effective, all these agencies, representatives from Ministry of Health, will have to be heavily involved in order that it will fit the description of effective and efficient implementation. Thank you.
Very well. Back to 18, adaptation. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just a couple of points we wanted to put before the committee. We want to suggest that you consider definition, more
on 18?
On 18, yes. Okay. On materials. So when you think of material, we add a clear definition, and we had a proposal to say material resources means tangible or intangible assets, goods, equipment, facilities, or services provided for the specific purpose of facilitating the commission of an act prohibited under this act, but does not include. And from the discussions we held yesterday on the various public health, legal, and other social interventions that we would want sort of exempted from the act, we had a long list of resources. So the exemptions would include resources provided in the course of ordinary transactions, commercial transactions, in the discharge of duty of care, maintenance, support arising from any enactment, customary law, family obligations, the medical health. So in order not to, since we had gone over these yesterday in the previous definitions,
Can you take us into the body of the draft bill where we use material so that we can get a context?
Right. Thank you.
So just take us back so that we can follow.
Because under clause 11, where provision of funding and sponsorship is treated.
Which page?
I don't see material resources.
Yes, so we thought that we should have a definition of material resources. It's quite central to
Clause 9. Clause 9. Which particular subclause are we referring to?
Clause
9.1. Subject to the concession, a person shall not market, broadcast, disseminate, or publish through distribute through. Then you have A and B, a material for purposes. So it was that material we wanted to give context to. Yes, that was our proposal.
Yeah, because if we say material, we need to know what material we're talking about, isn't it?
Yes. For the material, I agree. That definition that Doc has proposed will be very tenable. I only disagree with the exceptions Doc intends to create, even in that definition, because in the context of 9.1, it goes on to say for purposes of promoting an act prohibited under this act. That exception is already made. And so we can only go ahead to define the material without having to repeat an exception in that definition. Because so long as that material is not intended to promote any act prohibited under the act, there's no fears about it. And then the law is very clear.
So if you go over what you mean by the material, then we can tweak it.
Thank you, Chair. So of course, we'll take guidance also from drafting. So we had said material resources, but if it has to be material, we'll still go with means, tangible or intangible assets, goods, equipment, facilities or services provided for the specific purpose of facilitating the commission of an act prohibited under this act.
No, it will not.
Services.
Yes, so Senator Kamen.
I think I heard him mention services, but that cannot be part of definition for material as used in the bill.
Perhaps information.
Rev, let's land there. So if you take off the services, is there any other thing that you have an issue with?
Material could
Facilities.
Facilities, okay.
Yes, I don't think in material we ordinarily include facilities.
material connotes something tangible, not an intangible. So that's my understanding. I don't know whether I mean, so you can use a material of radio to broadcast something. What you are broadcasting is intangible, but the material exactly
Material
an
like
item.
This book. Chairman, material like this
Exactly.
book. This LGBT book,
You're out of
the
order.
government has printed and distributed.
Rev, you're out of order.
This LGBT material.
So, Mr. Chairman, we may be guided by the interpretation parts and the creative art industry. So something like that could also serve as a guide for us. Then we can
Go over that again.
creative art industry includes cultural sites, visual art, traditional cultural expression, that kind of thing. So then those are the non-tangibles. So then we can now relate tangible stuff to the material that we are working with.
So on that note, can you redo the definition for the material? We can give you some time to recraft it while we go through other stuff. Then we'll pick it up before we leave. Yes, Vivi.
And I'm just thinking if looking at it in the form of a use them rule, generics, you see that we have listed some items. Said that a phone, an internet service, an electronic device, or any other device capable of electronic storage or transmission, a material for purposes of promoting an act. So it falls within those categories like an item, anything, and it goes into what my learned brother Hassan said, that it shouldn't be any intangible. Any item that is capable of being used in that line falls within, because a material is a tangible item.
Very well. Honorable Gakwe.
Chair, so based on the definition, if material is tangible, internet service is not tangible. It's a service. So if you want to go by that, when you say internet, it's a service.
Yeah.
But if you say computer, it's tangible. So for me, when you go by that line that material you want to define is as tangible, we'll go wrong based on what my learned colleague have mentioned.
Yeah. So, Doc, do you want to reconsider?
So yes, I think we can work and then supply the committee with something that captures the discussions.
Very well.
Our other recommendation is on the definition of, I think yesterday the committee discussed at length romantic relation, and we were going to propose that under the definition of gay, we remove romantic relations. But I think there was an extensive discussion on the inclusion of romantic relations in the bill. Our next recommendation for your consideration is under family values. In defining family values, we make reference to gender. it says gender at birth. But respectfully also, if you look at gender and sex, they are two distinct terminologies. And we propose that the committee rather consider sex at birth, because that is determined at birth. Gender is a social construct that comes later, so it will better serve the purpose of the law to actually have sex instead of gender. So under definition of family values, yes, it says A, respect for the sanctity of marriage as a lifelong relationship between a man and a woman, each of whose gender is determined at birth. We thought it would better read, each of whose sex is determined at birth.
No, I think we are using the Christian name of sex. That's why we are using gender. The value is the same, more or less, but we're just using the Christian name of sex.
Yes, so, Chairman, already we have defined gender to mean the binary sex categories of male and female determined at birth, and the behavioral, cultural, and psychological traits typically associated with either sex, but does not include transgender, gender non-conformity, or non-binary categories. We are clear in our minds in this bill the definition of gender, and it fits very well in the context of what we mean by family values, and therefore there is no need to interchange that for sex. We are very clear on that one. But Chair, I have
No, so let's stay on that first.
Okay.
So the binary sex category.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Of male and female.
Then let's be
And determined at birth.
Non-binary. That non-binary has also been defined.
Yes. So what is non-binary?
That was
Non-binary
means a sex categorization
other than male and female.
other than male or female.
Which is
So binary is the categorization.
LGBTQ and all the
Non-binary, it says, means a sex categorization other than male and female. In other words, by necessary implication, binary means a sex categorization reference to male and female. So then we use that definition and go and then fit into the gender one.
So it means that these two are confusing. Oliver.
What's in the definition of non-binary? I wanted to flag that the way in which it is defined, it affects again the intersex issue that we mentioned, that was discussed earlier. Because the understanding is that they don't fit into the binary of male or female.
Yeah.
But the way if you go back to define non-binary, then you have brought them back through the door of non-binary again within the scope.
Intersex has also been defined.
Yes.
And it says that a person whose sexual anatomy or chromosomes does not fit the traditional markers of male or female determined at birth.
Exactly. And so it coincides with the non-binary definition.
Yes, so
then
that one is correct.
That it doesn't.
It does not affect intersex, yes.
Yes, so then
we have made all the exceptions where we are referencing, the community. We always accept intersex. That was done consistently yesterday.
So
what would you suggest, Oliver?
as well?
What would you suggest? Look
That
at
the definition of non-binary is clear that it doesn't include intersex. Because if it's broad enough that it falls in the category.
Very well. Chairman, I'm amenable to that. So that the definition of non-binary now we read means a set categorization other than male and female except for intersex.
Yes, so we should accept intersex.
Consistency, I agree.
All right. So, Chairman, whilst on it, so coming to the definition of intersex, I wish that to bring the clearer meaning of what we are intending, we rearrange and rather say intersex means a person whose sexual anatomy or chromosomes, as determined at birth, does not fit the traditional markers of male or female.
Traditional. So we are just
Instead of leaving the
changing
determined at birth to the last. So means a person whose sexual anatomy or chromosomes as determined at birth does not fit the traditional markers of male or female.
drafting. I think it's perfect. Yeah. I think this rendition looks like it fits the purpose.
And Chairman, again on plus, the last definition we provided there. Plus means any other gender identity not contained in the short acronym LGBTQAP+. And I suggest an addition to it to include, that would say, but contrary to the binary categories of male and female assigned at birth.
Check again, shake it now. Yes. Okay, sure. Okay.
So when you get to the definition of plus, which is the last definition, where we have ended, I'm suggesting we include but contrary, so the whole thing will read any other gender identity not contain the short acronym LGBTQAP+, but contrary to the binary categories of male and female assigned at birth.
Well, for the avoidance of doubt. Mr. Chairman, let's look at pansexual.
Senator, please do. Then we get that.
Plus means any other gender identity not contained in the short acronym LGBTQAP+, but contrary to the binary categories of male and female assigned at birth. And Chairman, I propose this because as we go on, there are various dimensions of variants of LGBT that are emerging, which after the promulgation of this law, another category, maybe E or F or C or whatever, may connote it.
May surface.
So, for the avoidance of doubt. So, we are saying that plus takes care of any other thing.
Sen, are you good with it? Because we have defined plus too. So, once we come to plus, you can tweak that.
No, there's a plus that I'm adding this one. I'm qualifying. I'm qualifying the plus.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
So we are doing.
But what do you think about it?
Shraj.
All right, thank you.
Let's hear from you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning. Mr. Chair, please, I'm still doing some research, but the definition for intersex, I think we have agreed that we want a rendition that does not create an issue of stigma.
Yep.
And for me, it does not fit the traditional markers. I'm struggling with it. So I'm looking for a solution.
So please, before we conclude, come out with something.
For a solution, yes.
And then
it sits well with me. I'll create it.
I'm sure you and you, Oliver and Rachel, you can just work together and come up with some definition.
That doesn't create the issue of stigma.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yes. Sit down.
So, if by what Reverend has given, are we going to amend the first clause application? Are we going to define the plus?
Yes, we have defined it. It's the last definition.
So are we going to add it to the list of applicants?
Yes.
Those who hold themselves out. Chair, I don't know whether you are getting me.
Yeah, please go over it again.
What I'm saying is that now we are defining the plus, but we haven't defined the plus when it comes to clause 1.
We haven't criminalized.
Yeah.
No, that's very, very correct. It's true.
It's an omission.
The scope of application under
the plus.
Under 1.
A.
Are you suggesting we add
plus?
The plus.
Yes.
Oh, okay. The IX.
No,
the
I don't think so.
The IX.
Yes. So if you do IX, a person of any other sexual orientation. or in a sexual relationship that is contrary to the social cultural relationship between a male and a female.
So it takes care of that.
Yeah.
It takes care of that. But thanks for drawing our attention, but it takes care of it.
Yep. So that is omnibus enough.
So let's look at pansexual.
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 On page what?
And on page 17.
Page 17.
Pansexual and pansexual activity. If I get it correctly, it means if you are engaged in a sexual activity as a male with two females, what we call threesome, and then the two females, I'm just giving an example, and the two females are also having.
Do you define threesome by?
I'm just giving an example.
Combination.
Threesome can be one male,
that's right,
two female,
okay,
one female,
so they are just
two
three.
males.
They are
you understand?
There's no
or
combination.
it can be four, it can be five, or whatever. But I'm saying that if you are engaged in that activity as a male or a female, and there are other people who are also engaged in the same enterprise, and they probably are not doing what heterosexuals do, and they are doing what the LGBT community does, you could be caught up under this one. If it's the same enterprise. Let's get the understanding correctly so that we are all on the same page.
Specifically
under page 17.
Yes,
the last two.
So
pansexual and pansexual activity.
Yeah, so Chairman, pansexual says
yes.
Pansexual means a person who engages in a sexual or romantic activity with persons of any gender identity or expression, including a person who does not fit into the binary sex categorization of male and female.
Yeah, that's what we have here.
Yes.
Do you want to?
Yeah. What that means is that such people, for them, they don't discriminate. They do everything some. They do with L, they do with G, they do with B, they do with T, they do with K, they do with A, they do with everything. Yes, those are the people we are calling pan. Oftentimes, when you say lesbian, the lesbian is a female who will do it with a female. The gay is a male who will do it with a male. Who will do the do with a male. And then when you talk about bisexual, the bisexual will do it with, if it's a man, he will do it with a man, and then he will also do it with a female. But for pansexual, for them,
hopping,
it's like a universal donor.
Exactly.
they have omnibus license to operate, which is very greedy.
Very well. So Ineda, we are cool with the definition for Doc Foley. Any other definitions?
Very well, Chairman. Thank you, Chair. We also noticed something under family values. Do we want to define family in our context? And Honorable Chair and members, this is important because we use certain terms, in our everyday connotation, family, community, but for the purposes of this, would the House consider adding a definition of family, just for clarity? We say family values, but the family in which context? Our broader extended family, because family in our anthropological and sociological context is beyond the nuclear.
Your family. Your family.
Under the Marriages Act, there's family is not there. Family is not there, so that's a consideration. Very well.
The Children's Act. Do we have family defined there?
It doesn't have family defined there. In fact, Honorable Chair, if I recall, when we were doing the Child and Family Welfare Policy, when Honorable Oye Bampuado was minister, we struggled with the definition of community in Ghana. Is East Legon a community as opposed to maybe a small section of Shama, yes, who have a sense of community belonging, but here everybody's, because we needed that definition of community when we said a child who is violated in the community gets the response of the community. So that's where some of these considerations came in, that when we are doing law and policy, we think of some of these terms. So that's one. Chair.
Shraj, are you able to help us with family?
Chairman, I have a All right, Chairman, I have a definition from the Article 18.1 and 2 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. And this is found on the page VIII of the memo accompanying the bill. And I read, Article 18.1 and 2 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights states as follows: the family shall be the natural unit and basis of society. It shall be protected by the state, and it shall take care of its physical health and moral. This does not quite give, but we have stated it, I'll find it in a page, but it specifically refers to family as a unit emanating from a marriage between man and woman, whose gender determined at birth. I will try and fetch it from the memo.
This definition,
yes,
from an African context.
Yes, we indicated it in the memo. I'll in a few minutes, Chairman, I'll get that definition.
So, Doc Foley, will it hurt if we just go ahead and define family values without necessarily conscripting ourselves to looking at what a family is?
Family has nothing.
The fact that it's a compound name,
human rights and family
we should
value.
separate and define them. Let's know what family value is. And once we appreciate what family value is, we go ahead without necessarily looking for our trouble.
Why are we inviting this trouble?
No, we shouldn't invite any trouble. Yes. Senior.
Family, extended family.
Senior.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Chair, the last definition, the plus.
Can you let us conclude on this one? And then, so we are agreeable that let's not invite any trouble. What Reverend read from the African perspective, from a typical Ghanaian perspective, that cannot qualify as a family. And so,
Mr. Chairman, even in the Constitution,
so we can leave out the definition for family and then concentrate on what family value is. Once we get that within the context of this bill, we are good to go. You were referring us to the Constitution.
yes, I cannot actually get, but in the Constitution, it specifies that the family is the basic unit on which it's in the Constitution. I found it.
Yes, when you do, before we vacate here, let's know exactly what it is. Still on family values, please.
Chairman, the family values, BII, page 15.
Which document are you referring to?
The clause 18.
18, okay.
And BII on page 15. It says that the ultimate purpose for the role of government in protecting and advancing the family as the basic unit of society. So the family as a basic unit of society, just to add up to what Bachman has stated.
As a basic unit of society is to safeguard and promote the best interest of children. Well, so the reason the definition says it includes. So there may be others. And as and when they are determined by any competent authority, they are part of family values. Oliver, still on family values? Please, let's hear
I
you.
don't see Constitution defining family. Yeah, I don't see it.
I'm sure he Maybe it's mentioned.
Yeah, it's not defined, but it's stated somewhere.
Please go.
Chair, I wonder when we say family values include respect for the sanctity of marriage as a lifelong relationship between a man and a woman, what implications it has on polygamous marriages?
Well, we will say in drafting, man can be plural, and woman also means plural. So if our cultural values allow a man to marry 4, like in my custom and in my religion, then the singular means plural, and in drafting we accept that. Senior, you are drifting from family values to a different one.
No, this one is different.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I think we're down with family values. Very well.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, it is about the definition for the plus. Let's take a second look at it. The plus means any other gender identity not contained in the short acronym, but the plus is contained in the acronym.
Representing all other.
You should redefine it. So are you with me?
Yeah.
There was a proposal.
Yes, I appreciate. So in that definition, we can take away the plus. So not contained in the acronym LGBTQ, TTQP, AAP, and then that's it. We don't add a plus.
Mr. Chairman, we have defined the acronym with a plus.
Yes.
Yes, from Doc.
Chair, I think if we the evolving understanding of gender, and that's why we were saying, for instance, where you had talked about gender at birth, we were recommending sex at birth, is that the evolving understandings of gender, and gender is a social construct. Now we even have gender identity, which in the literature would suggest perhaps a person's internal sense or understanding of who they are. An example, but not all of it would be.
Doc, are you making reference to gender identity?
Oh, you and this group.
Continue. Felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with sex assigned at birth. It can include being male, female, or a blend of both. And this concept goes beyond
I note that Rev has brought a Bible here.
Male and female, and recognizes the diversity of gender expressions and experiences. Doc, are you referring to this definition?
Doc, please
this
continue.
This one is what Ghana Education Service, NACA, and Ministry of Education has printed.
Doc,
and taught.
Very well, Chair. Very well, Chair.
Doc, continue.
Right. It's not construed as this.
Doc, continue.
Yes, Chair, not this definition specifically per se, but not all of these expressions.
Are you proud of what you are
criminal or are intended for criminal purposes? An example would be persons who, like Caster Semenya, who has a predominantly masculine outlook because of increased natural levels of testosterone. She's not a transgender or an intersex person, but it's just this natural constitution that makes her perform in her sport better given those male characteristics. So not all of these expressions are in themselves going to be criminal or would express criminal tendencies. That is why I think we need to look at that. And if you even take gender in terms of its expression in the way people perform roles in the home, we have a world in which even in our own Ghanaian culture now, there are men who take on the predominantly gendered role of caring for children and all of that. Those roles are changing. So I would say we go easy on having this expansion, which may end up someday hurting us, because there would actually be no intention of what we want to put in this law here, and then people may find themselves, when they have not even done anything, but being classified as potentially criminal persons in our society. Thank you.
So let's go back to the plus definition.
Yes. So,
Okay,
Chairman,
so
back to the plus definition.
Yeah.
The rendition we have is plus means any other gender identity not contained in the short acronym LGBTQAP, but contrary to the binary categories.
You have not mentioned plus. So are you taking away?
Because of the suggestion.
No,
by
but
Doctor.
in defining LGBTQ.
Because that plus is what we are defining.
No,
So
but
it
we
doesn't-
define LGBTQ with the plus.
We can't take it out.
We define that acronym with the plus.
The plus.
I am honorable chair.
Me
I
anticipate.
think we have to leave it as is.
The plus for me
We have to
is
leave it as is.
anticipatory.
It will not take anything
It's
away.
anticipatory. That's
Yeah,
there could be
any
some
other.
variants that we don't know about.
There's no need
It
to
used to be
tamper with it.
LGBT.
Now Q
then T, then T, then A, then on. That's why we are adding a plus.
P,
So the plus is just to refer to any future addition that we don't anticipate now.
So, Chairman.
So it's not in reference to one particular group, but it is anticipatory.
Well, so if you recall, in 1960, when the framers of the Act 29 were crafting the Criminal and Other Offences Act, they did not anticipate that there will be L, there will be G, there will be T, there will be Q, and all that. But now we have the benefit of anticipating further variants, and that is why we are leaving room that in order that we will not come back to amend this law just when another fluid emergence comes.
Very well, right. But can we take?
Yeah, before he comes in, just to respond to Doc, his concern is already taken care of. In society, we've already lived with people who are male but exhibit certain female characteristics, or females who exhibit some male characteristics. But all these persons are married to the opposite sex and they have raised responsible family, and nobody has ever had to stigmatize, and no bill has ever been.
Okay, so we leave the plus as it is.
And this bill doesn't
Any more on
intend
plus,
to criminalize any such behaviors.
May you introduce yourself and then we listen
Yes,
to you.
please. My name is Reverend Dr. Justice Apia Kubi, representing the National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values.
Did you mention proper?
Yeah.
We don't have proper before us. Yeah.
That's
That's the name of your coalition.
Yes, please. Yeah, we normally will say that, at least me, I normally say that one of the most successful strategy of the LGBT community is for us to think that when we mention about LGBT, it's always about men sleeping with men and women sleeping with women. That is only 2 among 49 genders they believe. And so, as Honorable was saying a while ago,
Can you repeat how many?
and even that one depends on the country, by the way.
What's the number you mentioned?
49.
Out of.
So the plus.
So yes, so the plus, so the plus is there for a purpose, and I agree that it might hurt those who are not. It doesn't. You shouldn't criminalize. Nevertheless, if we can do something that will still curtail the plus, is very important, because it was before we knew about Kotobesia and whatever the other one we call. Then it became another one. Then it became another one. Now, actually, in the US, they are fighting strongly that we should not call people pedophilias anymore. We should call them adults attraction to minors. And these are part of the plus. So again, LGBT is not GPR to you. Every single letter represents a group of people. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Gakwe.
Yeah, my chair, thank you very much. My issue in regards to what Doctor mentioned. Doctor make mention about the role we are playing at home. Sometimes male play female role at home. Those ones, for instance, if you are legally married or you are married and then you are bathing your child, you are cooking for the home, it's part of support to family. It doesn't come to issue of being gender or label to be a victim of that. So I think that one is support to the home. And everybody, you and I, we bath our children, we cook home. So it doesn't make us a female. We are still male. We are supported. So that one, I don't think we should have an issue with.
That's fine.
That. I still bath my children.
Shraj, and then Oliver.
So I have to do as he did. Chairman, the policeman.
Sir Chair, please, mine is still on gender. And I think...
Which page are you referring us to?
15. Family values.
Okay, that's a family values.
15A, I think. Yes. So it says family values include respect for the sanctity of marriage as a lifelong relationship between a man and a woman, each of whose gender is determined at birth. And so I'm still on, I like the man and woman, which is different from a girl and a boy, and also different from male and female. I think when we came to the definitions of binary and all, we're using male and female. There's a difference between sex and gender. Once you are born, you are male and female, with various other features to say that some may be hidden, though. Once you are a female, it is presumed that you have a womb. You are a man, it is presumed that you have testicles, you have the testosterone running through you, you have different hormones, because if you're a woman, you have estrogen running through your body. Those are sexual things that are determined at birth. But then society, as you grow, grooms you to become a woman and grooms you to become a man, and that's where the gender aspect now comes in. So it is expected that as a woman, as we have been doing, or even though we are trying to change the narrative, that as a woman, you must learn how to cook, because in future you marry, you must learn how to raise children and all that. And so I'll beg of the house that we should not mix the two up, because we have, I don't know anybody in the room, but there are people listening to us, and it will be a bit suicidal for us to say that gender means sex. So I'll plead that it will not affect the definition as it is there if we change it anyway. So I'll beg that we shouldn't mix the two. And Sechema is busy. And once I'm here, and I've been conducting public education on human rights principles, and I think I should add my voice, because I can't be here for us to say that sex means gender. And also, if we look under our various constitutions, I think the 1960 constitution previously considered discrimination on the basis of sex. But when it came to 1992, they realized that that definition doesn't sit well, and they went for gender. So please, if we will consider it, but we can't mix up the two. Thank you. No, we only change the sex. With sex, they just change the gender to sex, and where we want to talk of,
we have changed that already.
You have.
We have two distinct. We have changed gender to sex. So it says respect for the sanctity of marriage as a lifelong relationship between a man and a woman, each of whose sex is determined at birth.
Oh, then that's okay.
We have done that.
All right, that's great. Thank you very much.
Yes, Oliver.
All right, thank you so much.
Your case is moot.
I imagine that because I was reading the bill, that even though the sponsors are aware of the way in which gender is generally defined, they were using it in this context and the purposes of this bill, that whenever we refer to gender, we're actually referring to sex. That they're combining the two to mean that. That's what my initial understanding of the bill was. But then if you go on to define them separately, then we intend to use them separately.
Yeah.
But there are instances where in the bill, we are using them almost as if it's interchangeable. So there might be a sort of an audit through to know that when we are using gender, we actually don't mean just the sex in those contexts. If not, there are instances where it seems that they are being used interchangeably, but then we have defined them differently.
Very well. So the definition actually distinguishes those categories that we have and the context with which we have used them. Yeah. That's fine. So please, you work with our drafting department to get those corrections sorted out.
And Chairman, for avoidance of doubt, I want to seek the thoughts of our esteemed partners on their opinion on the gender definition and sex definition as enshrined in this act.
If I may, when we look at the family values definition, we talk about marriage in the context of gender at birth. But when we come to void marriages under 7, we're referring to sex and not gender for the purposes of marriage. So you have changed the family value.
We've changed that
to sex now. Yes, okay.
As it stands now, the gender definition and the sex definition, which are two distinct, and we are provided for. What's your thoughts on them? Because we have defined gender to mean the binary sex categories of male and female determined at birth, and the behavioral, cultural, and psychological traits typically associated with either sex, but does not include transgender, gender nonconformity, or binary categories. Then on page 18, we have defined sex as meaning the binary categories of male and female or chromosomal composition at birth and excludes any non-binary category.
For what I said, that particularly the behavioral, cultural, and psychological, and I think that's what Doc was getting to earlier when he was talking about, for instance, the Constitution says that the job of taking care of children is the natural place of women. Those conceptions now are being challenged as to whether or not men culturally should be involved in taking care of women. So that if you restrict the culture here, yes. But then when you say that the cultural understanding of a particular gender, it also extends to gender norms, gender roles. And so if you're using legislation to restrict it to a cultural understanding of a gender role, then it means that non-conforming behavior is putting your child behind your back as a man, will be gender non-conforming behavior, for instance. So those perhaps are the inherent risk in terms of how we are defining the.
Very well. Shraj, we'll take 2 more and then we can call it today.
Mr. Chair, I'm told that my last submission, because I didn't use the mic, may not be recorded. So my last submission was I will sit with the drafting team to audit the document and situate in context the use of the word sex and gender. Thank you.
Very well. Well captured. Yes, Doc.
Chair, quickly, under the definition of bisexual, if we look at the definition of bisexual,
yes,
bisexual does not include sexual activity. So we just want some consistency. Bisexual means a person who is attracted to persons who are of the same sex as that person and to persons who are of the opposite sex. But it says nothing. All the others, gay, lesbian, would refer to sexual activity.
Bisexual as a noun here.
Yes.
And not a verb.
Bisexual as a noun, yes. Yes. To include sexual activity so that you have consistency throughout.
So what's the proposal?
So if we redefine it, then we would say that means a person who is attracted to persons who are of the same sex as that person and to persons of the opposite sex and who engages in sexual activity.
Yeah.
And as was said yesterday,
are you cool with that? It's expansive now to include not just attraction,
Yes.
but also engaged in.
Okay. What we will do is to look at where we have used the word.
Oh, okay.
And see if there's any.
The context.
Yes.
Which.
Yes.
Look, drafting is saying that they will check out and see the areas that the word has been used, and then they'll look at it from that context.
Chair, by that definition, we're using the word conjunction and sexual activities. So it presupposes that if it's only the attraction, it doesn't fit for purpose.
But the two must go together.
But the two must go together. That's the danger. That's the danger.
The two is the two, and just as we give
the two must go together.
There is one that is sexual in nature but not result in intercourse, and there's also intercourse. We are talking about the two.
So what he's saying is that
what conjunction
if you conjunct the two must go together.
Other than that, they won't fit for
purpose and the menstrual coming together.
Yes. So we need to look at the definitions.
Yes. So the reason Senna says they will look at the context with which these words were used, and then they will couch out the definition. So I think that is fine. Any more? The very last one on this, and then we can wind up. Otherwise, we have exhausted. Any more from the definitions? Are you satisfied with the definitions? Yes, Rev.
I just want us to be mindful that in LGBT community, they have clear distinction between orientation and identity. The identity and activity, they are not necessarily the same. So when you see attraction, most of the time they're talking about their orientation. The activity is also the noun and the verb you were talking about. But for them, they are more interested about the orientation or their identity, not so much of the activity. So as you are doing, we should also be mindful about that. That's something I want to bring up.
We seem to be minded on the activity.
Yes, so I think our focus is on the activity.
More on the activity.
More on the activity. But by their colors, we shall know them too, isn't it? And so, rest assured, I think that we are all covered. Yeah, but the important thing is, we will still respect the right of every individual, as enshrined in the Constitution. And so, on that note, let me thank members of Parliament who have made it here. Let me thank our resource persons who have been here, sponsors of the bill who are also members of Parliament anyway, our partners, the UN institutions, we have the government institutions, FES, the UNAID, we have the traditional rulers, we have the coalition for your coalition is
you remember the bill, then remember the coalition. Proper human sexual rights and family rights.
That is not in the bill. That's the proper.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Very well.
Originally it was there, it just was removed later on.
So we recognize you. Importantly, we recognize the media, and I'll be mentioning the media houses here. As for parliamentary media in our team, we don't even need to mention you. You've been so fantastic, and from day one up to date, you remain in our hearts. Mr. Speaker will always mention you anytime we talk about open government partnerships, because you are the one making the open government partnership work. So we have quite a number of our media partners who are here. ParliamentNews360.com. We have Odikru. We have City FM and Channel 1. We have GhanaDistricts.com. We have the GNA. We have the GhanaMPs.com. Kesben TV is here. GND is here. Santa Radio UK is represented. I mean, most of these are online, and so we have a TV Africa. We have online Time GH. Peace FM. Peace FM is here. We have a Bright FM and Bright TV. TV3 is here. We have home-based TV here. We have Studio 502. We have Adom TV and Adom FM. We have GTV, the old lady in the house. GTV is here, and of course, our own Parliament TV. Is there any media house that will FM? Joy TV is here, and whichever TV station, sorry, Daily Graphic. I'm sure, I mean, as a commissioner, as a member of the National Media Commission, I should recognize all the business 24. Okay. Yoruba TV is here. Channel 1 is here. Jonkuma FM. Jonkuma FM is here. And I mean, class FM is here. I mean, we acknowledge Asempa Radio. Asempa Radio here. Oh no, that was just not here. Join is here. I represent someone. Let me thank all the media houses who have been here. This is a very topical, bill, and it affects every household in Ghana. This has been on the front burner for some time now. Thankfully, we are back, and we have finished with the consideration of it. After lunch, the committee will recline and then consider some of the considerations that we had flagged, and then we can now put together our report to the plenary. And so we thank everybody for coming. We thank Mr. Speaker. We thank Mr. Speaker for all the effort he's put in getting this thing back again. We will reconvene at 2:30 as a committee, and I'll take a few closing remarks from 3 persons, and I'll start with our partners, the government agencies, the UN, the whatever, FES, and so. When are we reconvening? 2:30. I've mentioned it. I'll do it again. For members. It's for members. So
Check and make your remarks.
No, just hold on.
Please. Who is speaking?
Mary, sure.
Hey, what happened? I'm being cajoled. Okay, should I stand?
No, please. Just sit.
Oh, sit down.
So, Honorable Chair, members of Parliament in the House, I know I should be saying ranking, but sometimes it's confusing. So, the members of Parliament, I can see the chair of the Human Rights Committee and the various honorable members, media, and the various persons represented here in this meeting. On behalf of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, on behalf of the Ghana AIDS Commission, the UNAIDS, and other partners within the room, we want to show our appreciation to the committee. Indeed, coming before Parliament, sometimes you may not know how receptive your submissions may be, but I must congratulate the House that you've been so receptive to our various calls. By that, we've been able to enrich the bill. You have considered the role of human rights institutions, GSA and other institutions who are doing a lot to bring public health interventions and other interventions to the community. I'm most grateful to the fact that the media is also here to capture what has happened. However, I still have a small request. As Oliver Twist, I always ask for more because as a national human rights institution, most of our funders are international partners. And therefore, I noticed or I've observed that the issue of funding has not been put to rest in terms of the exemption or whatever, how we may couch it to ensure that our international donors and partners who support the work we do may not be found, for want of a better word, culpable in their quest to help the various institutions, especially mine, to do its work in terms of Ghana AIDS Commission, Ghana Health Service, even though they are not here, in terms of the work to ensure promotion and protection. And so, in as much we are about to consider the memos, I still would put out a call for honorable members to consider in the area of funding how best we could put up a clause. I know Sena is here, always available. We could put up a clause to cater for this humble request. And so I want to use the opportunity to thank everyone and the House. We will still be around to engage or to monitor the engagement from the various institutions who have submitted memos. And I'm so happy that Honorable Chair has made that provision for us to meet with the various CSOs, institutions who have submitted memos. So as a national human rights institution, we are not leaving, we'll still be around to provide the support for various institutions here who will be speaking to their various memos. I want to say a big thank you to everyone. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Available ranking. Yep.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Chair, the committee's consideration of the bill and the referral is one of the processes that we go through when we're making law. And we have to remind everybody and ourselves that we are making laws for the people of Ghana. We're making laws for the people of Ghana based on their history, their current situation, and their future aspirations. We are also making the law having regard to the various customary areas that we have in this country. And we are reflecting the practices, the conventions, and lifestyle of the people in the various customary areas. Whatever it is that we are doing today is just a reflection of what our people want. If our people do not want this act or this bill to pass, we'll not be sitting here. So, Mr. Chairman, as far as I'm concerned, issues about funding and all of that have been raised by our lady from church. And I think that we have said it time and again, that the bill says that if you are bringing in funding or whatever it is that you are bringing to facilitate, and the operative word is whose purpose it is to promote any prescribed activity under this bill is what the law is founding upon. So if you are not bringing any funding to further an act that has been prescribed, you shouldn't have any concerns at all. So, Mr. Chairman, we on the minority, and I believe it's a collective, position, that when Parliament resumes sometime in May, we should ensure that this bill is passed under certificate of urgency. And as a committee, we can make that determination. We have passed so many laws under certificate of urgency, and this is one that is fit to be passed under certificate of urgency to bring finality to this matter that has been in the public domain for some time, so that the same day His Excellency the President will sign and give accent to the bill that has been passed.
Thank you.
By the good and virtuous people of Ghana. I thank you, Mr.
Vice Chairman.
Thank you.
No, he's a sponsor. No, it's finished. It's finished. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for the opportunity. Let me start by thanking the committee and the leadership for the diligent work that has been done from yesterday and today. Indeed, when we started the process yesterday, there was a certain indication that there's not going to be much that will be added to the bill because it had gone through all the processes. But it is important to appreciate that a lot of work has been done, a lot of input has been made. And for me, this is very, very refreshing. There has been some substantial changes, some substantial inputs that has been made as far as the bill is concerned. And we did say that it is not going to be a wholesale process because we believe that since the bill lapsed and now there's been some development, some additional developments that have come up, some inputs that has been drawn to our attention, and indeed we have been able to input all this. And for me, what is even important has to do with the fact that we're able to put timelines to the regulation. Because this bill is a very important one, it is also important that we are able to pass the LI, the regulation that will give flesh to the legislation so that it can be operational. And I think that is also a very important thing that we have done. I believe that we have taken everybody on board, talk about the religious bodies, talk about human rights, talk about Ghana AIDS Commission. All the key stakeholders have made inputs into this exercise, and I think that is the way to go. So thank you all very much, and may the good Lord bless us all. I want to assure the public that we are going to expedite the process before the House and make sure that we prosecute this bill and bring it to a successful end. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Well, whether it's a certificate of urgency.
On behalf of all my colleagues, the co-sponsors of this bill, and on my own behalf, we would like to thank sincerely your good self, the chairman of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, the leadership of the Human Rights Committee, your members, our respected colleagues, members of Parliament, and all stakeholders, CSOs, and team of experts who have joined us these past 2 days in engaging in what we all agree as the most productive period. And to also thank the general public and the media for coming along with us. The keen interest they have sustained and maintained in this legislation is one that is admired, which goes to, in fact, reinforce the position of the survey conducted by CDD in their Afrobarometer survey, and which most recently has also been corroborated by African Policy Lens survey, which all go to indicate forcefully that in Ghana, the overwhelming majority, over 93% of our Ghanaians consider practices of LGBTQ++ highly repugnant to our values. And this legislation strikes at the very core of our morality and tradition and customs as a people. We want to thank the Right Honorable Speaker also for the commitment shown, which public pronouncement a few days ago actually gave impetus and strength also to this committee in expediting the consideration we have seen. What we want to say is that the public, our work has not ended. The end is that the bill must be passed. And so as we have all put the pieces of suggestions and views together and arrived at a bill which is enhanced, it is our expectation that, consistent with the promise of the Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagman to the media, the first day on resumption, we're going to have this report appearing and listed on the order paper for second reading and consideration. And as Order 183 of our standing orders accommodates urgent private members bill, and Order 191, in fact, even further prescribes that the House shall allot 2 hours each Friday and any other day for the consideration of private members bill and private members motion. In line with our own rules, we'll be able to allocate 2 hours every day from the first day that we resume, so that within a matter of 4 days, we sit to pass this all the way to third reading, pass it, and then present it to His Excellency the President for consequential assent. And that is the commitment all of us are bound by. And we owe that as a fidelity and our solemn responsibility to the overwhelming majority of Ghanaians, faith-based organizations and religious authorities, traditional leaders. So we thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you.
We thank you, Honorable Chair. And we will continue to push so that we deliver this bill for the people of Ghana to preserve the sanctity of
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Reverend. And let me once again let me thank everybody for coming. We thank Ghanaians for their patience in doing this, and I want to assure Ghanaians that this time around, when the bill is transmitted, it will not be returned to Parliament unconstitutionally, as was previously done. And so, for us, once we do, and let's also be mindful that Parliament has got its own calendar. Much as we want to push in this bill, there are equally important bills. We don't rank bills in order of importance at the chamber. And so as we process the bills, we are rest assured that this bill will be considered when we resume. And so as to whether it is of agency, it will go under a certificate of agency or not. The important thing is not having a president who refused to assent to the bill. So we have a president who will assent to it. And that is what is important. It doesn't matter what time it gets there. Again, this is a committee work. There's nothing minority and majority about this committee. And so we have all agreed that, we are good to go on this. Let me assure Ghanaians that this will be considered on the floor of Parliament with the principles of justice, fairness, and human dignity. And so nobody, no individual will be affected or rights of the individual will be affected. And so this is very important. Above all, I mean, we are oblivious of, we are very mindful of our obligations to international communities and treaties. But that is subject to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And so we are mindful of all these as we consider the bill. Once again, I thank you all so very much. And we hope that the next stage of this bill will be carried out expeditiously. Thank you very much. And thanks for coming. Bye.